Hi, it's Glenn Dietzel here, live from the Canadian Lake Home, and I can't be with you live this week because I'm away with our family traveling. So what I'd like to do is give you access to one of our top Google Hangouts. Please use this content to assist you to command maximum fees and royalties for high-end programs and services, and I really look forward to being live with you on an upcoming Business Breakthrough Google Hangout.
Hello everybody, and welcome to another Google Hangout with me, Glenn Dietzel here, CEO of AwakenedNewGuruModel.com, and I'm really excited about what we're going to be covering today. If you've been following our recent Google Hangouts, you'll realize if you Google the concepts that we're covering and showing you the very strategic strategies that my clients use, you can't find this anywhere online today. In fact, who's going to reveal the kind of content that I'm sharing with you, from how to set your business fees, and I've given you 7 principles on a recent Google Hangout, to 10 principles of business acceleration, how to make quantum leaps of accomplishment and growth with your advice, with your own business, even if you're just starting from scratch. And in fact, I see it so often, and it's the people that are new into business, new into entrepreneurship, that actually make the greatest quantum leaps. Why? Because they don't. It's sort of like somebody that has a PhD in school. They're so schooled in a certain way of doing something that the problem is they're so schooled in doing something that they're not open to challenging their assumptions about success and really being willing to take focused, outcome-driven action. And that's the goal of our Google Hangouts, is to assist you and show you a better model. And if you followed the video or watched the video, and don't forget the recent Google Hangout that we did, I shared with you the ability of showing you how to pitch a deal over a cup of coffee and close deals. And today, we've so much going on within our international office here. I actually forgot my Starbucks coffee. It's sitting on another desk right now. But you'll know that I love to drink coffee, and I love to close deals everywhere in the world. In fact, one of my clients just recently called me up and said, Glenn, you're not going to believe this. You know, I was sitting at the airport waiting in line, and I closed a couple of deals, following your very specific advice on how to do that. And that's what I live for. I live for our client proof, our social proof of what we do. And wouldn't it be a good thing if you were able to leverage a level of credibility that you simply don't know how to position right now? Now, if you watch the video that I just shot on this blog post here, or wherever you're watching this, if you're on our Facebook page, we're growing our connections and our ability to put ourselves into different marketplaces simultaneously. So some of you are watching this on our G+ stream, some of you are watching this live, some of you will be watching this in other different locations. And I want to assure you that right now you're in safe hands. You're in safe hands. Why? Because you're going to get to use a better model to position your authority and your credibility. And if you're watching the video, I defined expertise, and let's write it out here for you. Got my trusty rusty marker here. Expertise is equal to authority plus credibility. All right, and there it is right there. Expertise is equal to authority plus credibility. Now, I've been talking to a few people just recently that really are getting some aha moments on understanding that authority alone won't bring you the kind of business traction that you want. Let me give you an example. If you've been following the media over the last several days, you'll know that there has been a terrible train accident here in our home country of Canada, in fact in the province of Quebec. And the chairman of the railway company recently went to Quebec and went to the small town and did a horrible job in terms of PR. Even though he is an authority in his field, he's the chairman of the railway company, he had zero credibility with the townspeople that are grieving over this horrific accident, and also with the media that were totally, in fact, one of our leading media stations here, CTV, in Canada called it a PR nightmare in terms of what this person did. How many of you have read a book and you've heard somebody speak, and listening to somebody speak, the person didn't sound very credible, and there was a total disconnect in terms of what was in the book versus when you actually heard the person speak? All right, what I'm going to show you today is something that the so-called gurus and experts don't teach around building credibility. And I shared with you recently that 25% to 30% at the most, 25 to 30% at the most, when it comes to closing a deal, is only attributed to one's authority. So having authority is not enough. Now, my clients know, and you've been following us, and you know that we live and breathe through the lives of our clients and their successes. That's why, what's one of the reasons what makes our company different. And as an educator, what gives me a leg up on just about everybody in the marketplace today, because the skill sets of making it and the skill sets of making it in business and teaching people to be successful are completely separate. So you want to be able to leverage, if you will, at the same time, knowing how to build your own company really quickly, but at the same time, teaching your clients, the coaches and trainers in your industry, and I'm going to show you how to attract those people as in the power position within your industry. You're going to want a better system, a better model that's not going to be dependent on, leveraging at the very most the authority model. Now, New Guru model is based on a whole new publishing model, and I'm going to, one of the reasons that I'm doing this Google Hangout here today is to give you an opportunity to get some exclusive training with me next week, and I'm going to have more to say about that really shortly. So I want to help us and focus. So where does the majority of the sale happen? It doesn't happen because of one's authority. Up to 70% of the sale, happens because of someone's credibility. The ability to build trust, the ability to be able to create this kind of relatedness with your marketplace. And you're going to love what I'm going to show you today around building your credibility, not at a conscious level, but at a subconscious level. Because here's the thing. I'm going to show you a pretty cool story here in just a moment about how I've been able to leverage what I teach my clients around building credibility. Because when you're able to increase your credibility, you're able to elevate your influence. And we all want to influence more people, right? We all want to influence more people. The more people that you influence, the more people that you get in front of. And you're going to love the stealth marketing tools, the advice-based tools that my clients use, because they utilize the power of authority and the power of credibility to close deals really, really quickly. Now, if you've been following some of our Google Hangouts, as I said, one of the systems that I've already showed you, one of the hundreds of proprietary systems that my company has created, is on how to get your marketplace to remember and to see and to remember what it is that you do. So you've got to have a competitive advantage that allows for you to do that. And I showed you a very simple system, and I gave you some rules, in fact 7 rules, to diagramming out your competitive advantage in a way that positions yourself very strategically against your competitors. Now, let me just show you how I've been able to leverage what I'm going to show you today. So let me put this on the screen here for you. And find it. All right, and I've found it. So let me just share my screen here, and let me give you a couple of examples here. You'll notice the person on the left, Tony Robbins, and this is just hundreds of gurus and experts and thought leaders that I've attracted into my life. How? Well, the story about Tony Robbins there on the left, and whether or not you want to speak in public, I don't care. The goal is becoming more strategic with your credibility to put you in positions where you can sell bigger and better services. So our goal in our Google Hangouts with our clients is to, first of all, increase the size of transactions. So make your first profitable transaction, which business is all about, and increase the size and number of those transactions. So you'll see there Tony on the left side. I went to a private event with Tony Robbins. It was at the Encore Hotel in Las Vegas about 4 years ago. And one of my dreams is always to share the stage with Tony Robbins. And people saw at the event, at this private networking event, how I was closing deals. And I was asked, I was not a speaker, but I was asked to share the stage with Tony Robbins, come up on stage and share my system of how we teach our clients how to build credibility. Would you like to know how to do that? Would you like to be able to create that kind of leveraged influence? Of course you would, right? And then the other picture on the other side, Richard Branson. I was invited by Richard Branson's company to network with Richard Branson. Now, I don't know how they found out about me. All I know is that I was able to create some very powerful systems to get myself noticed by key players that are going to assist us to propel our company in today's marketplace. And everything today is about speed to market, speed to market, speed to market. And I see so many gurus and experts teaching, how to build authority, but they're going about it not only are they not showcasing what's missing in creating status in today's marketplace, because authority is only about 30% of it. In fact, what they're teaching is too slow. Writing a book, and I'm not against writing a book, and creating a 97 DVD collection and all that other stuff that the so-called gurus and experts teach. If you've been following my clients, you've been following the case studies that I've been showing you. And in fact, if you go back to a previous one, and I shared with you a case study, the case study was Eagle, E-A-G-L-E, and you can get it. And the number is 248-469-4376, 248-469-4376. That was a case study, and you can get back on one of our previous Google Hangouts. You can get that. You can take a look at how Dennis was able to close a $1.24 million deal, starting from scratch with me within 60 days, and turn that into a deal over $5 million. Now, here's a really cool thing. Dennis was starting out online from scratch. No strategic partners, nothing. How many of you right now are viewing yourself in a position of weakness? You don't know how to make fast, powerful connections. You want desperately, and you know that if you just were able to angle your content in the right way, your advice, if you could just make a critical connection, just like I've been able to do, it could literally blow open your business. Would that be a great thing to be able to do? Of course it is. And that's why we're on this Google Hangout together today, to be able to help you pitch your advice in a way to close deals. So this is part one. And as I said, part two is going to be on some exclusive training, because I'm going to want to show you some things. And on our Google Hangout here, you get to just hang out with me. You get to watch me periodically. I get to throw some stuff up on the screen. I'll show you a few pages here. I've got my markers here, and so that you and I are engaged. And your goal in your marketplace is to engage your market. And there's so many things that you could be doing so much faster and quicker and so much more strategic than what you're doing right now. I want you to stop it all, because you want to create an intelligent business. You want to use a smarter business model to be able to really leverage your area of expertise, your advice. All right? So let's move forward here. And I want to, first of all, I want you to write this concept down right now. Content is not king. Content is not king. All right, what is king? What is king? It's not content, no matter what all the experts tell you, and no matter, we live in the advisory age. Your advice is worth a lot of money. The problem is, there's something that's even more important than content. Now, before we go further here, let me just share with you, we haven't done this yet, so let's share with you the sunset of the week from the Canadian Lake Home. We've got clients coming in all summer, coming in to work with me, clients that want to leverage our business acceleration systems, our new guru business acceleration systems so they can operate a lot faster. One of the things that we do on our Hangouts every week is to show you the sunset of the week. And why am I doing this? Because the National Geographic has said that the best sunsets in the world are off my beach, off the Canadian Lake Home. And that's an example of a beautiful sunset that we get to witness, especially, it's beautiful all year round, but especially in the summertime. So content is not king. Write that down. What is king? Write this down. Context is king. Context is king. So if we look at your content and the way that you're going to position it as the authority in your marketplace, and we look at context as credibility, how are you going to build credibility for your content? How are you going to build credibility for your authority? Credibility is so much more important. In fact, let's quickly do a little review just to bring all of you up to speed. Going to get out my trusty rusty marker here, and I'm going to draw a dot, and there's my dot. All right, and what we're going to do now is that dot represents your advice, and I'm doing this very small. Why? Because right now your advice, you're probably having some difficulties. You're probably, first of all, undervaluing your advice. I can almost guarantee you are. There's not one client that I've worked with, and we've worked with thousands of clients globally, that doesn't naturally already undervalue their advice. Now, put the X over here, do an X, and that is that's your competitor. So if you want to start thinking about how to strategically position your authority, when we talk about your authority, then it's your system that you're going to use, and it's based on your advice, based on your life experiences. So you need to be able to put that into a system. That is where your authority rests on, your system for solving a very specific problem. Now, if you position what you do against what it is that your competitors do, now you do something very powerful. You're able to now magnify the value of your advice. And here's what you're going to make sure that you want to do. So notice we magnified the value of your advice. Notice my hands already getting all marked up. If you saw some of our pictures of my recent Spartan race, I'm getting ready for a warrior dash. I don't mind getting dirty, especially in the trenches. And that's why my clients love our programs. Why? Because they don't have to work hard. They just need to work smarter and let the program, let the systems do the work for you. So let me get dirty. Let me do the work. You just need to self-reflect on what I'm covering. So if we take a look at this diagram right here, there's your competitor. Now there's your magnified value. Why is it so much bigger? Because you're now contrasting what you do based on what the so-called gurus and experts in your own industry say. So you're paid to go upstream. When everybody else is going downstream, you go upstream. When everybody says to go this way, you go that way. And so you want to be able to understand how to strategically give away your advice. And this is crucial. You probably want to write this down. You want to position your advice from the negative perception that your clients have of your competitors. Let me repeat that again. You want to position your advice from the context of what your competitors fail to do and how your potential clients view that negativity, how they negatively perceive your competitors. And if you position yourself there, you're going to hit a huge gap in the marketplace where people are already jaded, they're cynical, and our marketplace today has never been more jaded and more cynical. People want to trust somebody. So I'm showing you a better system to build trust, build authority, build credibility, increase your influence, increase your positioning power. Okay, so the key here in making this happen and building your authority then, as I've mentioned before, is having and I'm going to write it out for you here, having a reference point. You got to have a reference point. You just can't willy-nilly give away your advice. You have to do it strategically. And I teach my clients how to do it from the standpoint of eliminating your competitors. getting your ideal clients to desire your highest end programs and services and want to work with you for a lifetime. That's why our own certification co-branding program is so big. It's so huge because nobody is doing this. Imagine, you giving away your advice in a way that allows your own clients, trainers, people that got 25, 30 years of expertise on you, but you're able to create the #1 status in your marketplace because you're thinking a lot more strategically. And you build out your own certification program like we teach, and you can take a look at that on our site. And many of you have downloaded it, in terms of beginning to understand how to strategically organize, and what's the word that we often use? I'm going to write it down here for you. Strategically chunk your content. You want to be able to chunk your content in a very strategic manner. So if we take our diagram here, now this is your elevated authority because you've created and positioned yourself against a reference point. And the reference point isn't just something nebulous, it's what your competitors failed to do and how your potential clients view your competitors from a negative perspective. That's where the gap lies in your marketplace. All right, now let's take a look a little bit further here. Where does credibility come in? Well, let's draw this out here for you. And again, if you missed our training on the importance of diagramming your competitive advantage, I think all of us want to save time and money, right? We want to save time. It's one of my clients just recently came into our programs. He said, I asked him, why did you invest in Inner Circle? He said, Glenn, you pay for the best and only cry once. That's what you told me. I said, absolutely. And he said, you know what? I realize that if I don't invest, I'm going to end up coming back to you a year from now, and I'll probably even be more jaded and cynical. Here, see the dotted line? That's the credibility we're talking about. That's your ability to build context. That means before you ever give away any aspect of your advice, you're going to want to be able to frame it or position your advice, and I'm showcasing that right now, okay? So that's why credibility, your ability to increase trust, your ability to be able to increase your influence, your ability to be able to persuade other people to choose you. That's why it's so important, pardon me for my itchy nose here, but it's so important for you to be able to think strategically on how you're going to give away your advice. Not what you're going to give away, but how you're going to give it away. So let's write that down because that is crucial. The how always supersedes the what. I see so many people, they come to us and they've been writing a book, or they've been putting something together, or they just could never get anything started with anybody else's program, and it was just teaching them about what, as opposed to how to think more strategically. So when you take a look at what my clients are doing, using very strategically created business assessment instruments to be able to strategically market to or educate their marketplace. You remember our definition of marketing? Marketing is, what is marketing? If you're not sure, marketing in the advisory age is an assessment. And what is sales? Sales is simply having an educational system that vets, V-E-T-S, vets your ideal clients very naturally. Let's write that down. It's another really important word. Okay, if you want to pitch, you want to pitch deals very successfully and never have to hard sell or hard pressure anybody into your programs, especially in the advisory age, and keep the power positioning, you want to have a vetting process. Vetting process that showcases what it is that you do. Now, let me show you the power of what we're teaching, all right? And I want you to set up a little chart here, right here. Size of transaction, all right? Right here. Size of transaction, the number of transactions, and the total over here. Okay, I'm going to do a little exercise with you. And so write that down, size of transaction, number of transactions, and the total. All right? Now, why did I write that down? Why do I want you to write that down? Because that's what the essence of business. I had somebody just recently ask me, Glenn, what was your biggest aha moment? Like, how did you make these quantum leaps to go from, selling $2,400 programs to 7,900 to 15,000 to 22,000 to 50 to $100,000, all within your first year of leaving your job, which was about 10 years ago now? And I said to the person, a really good question. What was my answer? To realize what business ultimately is. Business ultimately is knowing how to increase, first of all, making a profitable transaction, and then increasing the size and number of transactions. So let me write down here. This is a fun little exercise that I want you to do. Let's say you do what all the gurus and experts say, and you're focusing your time on selling a $19 product. Okay, an ebook, a book, whatever, all right? And let's just say within a unit of time, could be an hour, could be half a day, could be a day, could be a week, but you're experiencing one transaction per unit of time. So I've written down near one right here, okay? Now, what's the total value that you're making? And by the way, you're definitely want to get to our last Google Hangout, because I revealed a really cool formula on how to achieve #1 dominance in your marketplace. So let's take a look at this. 19 times 1 is going to put me at $19. We're going to put this person at $19 per unit of time right here. All right? Now, I want to introduce to you a concept. We're going to talk more about this, especially on the private training I'm doing. And used a marker here that might not come out as well. But I want you to write down the final column here, ROIT, return on invested time. That is a huge concept if you want to create a lifestyle business. And all my clients do. They want to travel more. They want the ability to be able to travel, be able to look after their family, be able to give back. And of course, business is ultimately about cash flow, right? The more cash flow that you're able to create, the more you're able to scale and grow your business. So ROIT, all right? Now what I want you to do here, based on what we teach with our new Guru Business Acceleration process, let's put a factor in here, and I'm going to put a factor of 10. All right, 10 times right here, all right? Now, if you've been following us for any length of time, you know that if you're struggling in business, it's probably because you're undervaluing your advice and you're positioning a low-end product. And your marketplace today doesn't want another product. They want a service. Now, it doesn't mean you got to sacrifice all the time, in your week. I have an incredible lifestyle business because I know how to create coaching models for my clients that allow them to do the very same thing. They get to model the very same thing that we do. So if we take this 10 times factor, all right, and we change the size of transaction to $190, all right, and we do something pretty cool too around with this. We're going to now, in the unit of time, all we're going to do is we're going to increase the number of sales by 3 by following our proven and replicatable systems. All right, so if we multiply 190 by 3, what do we get? Well, if I get my trusty rusty calculator out here, we get $570 right there. Oops, my finger's on it. $570. Now, what are we talking about? We're talking about a scale of 30 times. 30 times. You are operating now profitably 30 times greater than what you're operating up here, with no true business traction, no way of leveraging your expertise and understanding how authority and credibility play together. All right? So you got to understand this, because this is what's going to really create some massive leverage for yourself. Now let's go back to this, our chart here, and let's just say we increase our front-end program by 100 times. All right? So instead of having, so I'll put the 100 times number right here. All right? And let's just say we multiply $19 now by 100, and now we've got $1,900. We still, our number of transactions, we'll keep it consistent at 3, and now our total is 5,700. 5,700. See that, everybody, right there? 5,700. This is how my clients are able to make such massive quantum leaps in business. This is what I discovered, almost 10 years ago after struggling for 2.5 years to make a little over $520 after investing in myself over $65,000. Not a very good ROIT. And what does that now take us from the $19 front-end product to positioning ourselves a little bit differently with authority and credibility? Now we've increased our factor by 300 times. Now we're operating, and this is how you create businesses of scale. All right, so I want you to understand that. That's really important, and we can maybe, we can increase those numbers. What if you were to get the guts with my assistance to go from a $19 product to a $19,000 program immediately, just like my clients do, many of them do, and you can see how you can begin to build some massive traction. So I want you to be aware of that. Understanding those numbers are crucial. And I find that so many people don't understand the basics of business and understanding, they're spending so much time putting advice together. They don't have no way of doing it strategically, and they completely forget what business is all about. So remember, what business is ultimately is focusing on the size of transaction and increasing the size and number of transactions. And then utilizing a concept that we teach our clients around ROIT, return on invested time. And I'm going to show you those principles next week on how to scale your business, how to scale your thinking, how to make it bigger. Because when you make it bigger, you start beginning to attract people, just like I was able to do with Tony Robbins, Richard Branson, and others. So that leads us then to the definition of marketing in the advisory age. So write this down: marketing in the advisory age. If you want to leverage the expert platform, you need to know how to intertwine authority and credibility. And I'm going to show you here in just a second how to do it, and I've actually diagrammed it out for you. So what I want you to do, though, right now is write out our definition of marketing, okay? It's not a discussion of facts, but it's the transference of emotion where your content is strategically delivered. So it's not a discussion of facts. And I see so many people today putting programs and services together. All it is just, there's no real focus to it. But it's a transference of emotion where your content is delivered strategically. Okay? And I'm going to show you that. I'm going to show you our PCA process. Let me show you here. Our PCA process right here. All right, and you're going to love it. It's simple, but it's profound, all right? So we want to be able to leverage. So let's take a look how authority and credibility play out more strategically. So let me just put this here on the screen here so that you can take a look. And let me just load it here for you. And here you'll see here on the left is your content. And, understanding the importance of context, and that's the green there. Our goal when you give away your advice is to be able to integrate the context and the content. And I've tried to show that through a gradient, if you will, where you're blending your context or your credibility with your content, which is your authority. So they need to be integrated strategically. All right? And remember, we've talked about this before, that in order to build an intelligent business, you've got to be strategic and you've got to create leverage. So you need to know how to intertwine credibility and authority. All right? So in order to do that, there's two little known laws. Let me just review these here for you quickly if you're new to our training. The one law that you want to write down is Milgram's Law. So write that down. Milgram's, M-I-L-G-R-A-M, apostrophe S, Milgram's Law. And what is Milgram's Law? Well, let's just, let me load up, let me put Milgram's Law, and then I'm going to show you the new buying criteria and why this is so absolutely crucial for you to see this. So if I put down Milgram's Law, let me go here for a second. Right, here we are, back here. I'm going to share my screen. And here's Milgram's Law. It's also known as the 1 second rule. All right, and what is Milgram's Law? If I go up here for a second, Milgram's Law, the marketplace will blindly believe the words of an expert. But today, being an expert doesn't get you much. Why? Because everybody seems to be an expert today. Everybody seems to have a book. It's very easy to be an expert. It's very difficult to be the expert. Now, I can make it easy for you if you've been following what we're doing by thinking more strategically and creating an intelligent business. All right? I hope you're following me here, right? Because this is crucial to your success. So let's go here now. There's another little known law that I want you to write down, and that is Zipf's law. Z-I-P-F apostrophe S, Zipf's law, Z-I-P-F apostrophe S. Now, what does Zipf's law say? Well, let's go back here. I'm going to share my screen so you can take a look. And if we go here, Zipf's law says, with limited time and opportunity to experiment, your ideal clients intentionally narrow their choices to those who are on top. So where Milgram's law says you have at minimum 1 second to influence your target market, and these are laws that have to do with credibility, not authority. You can't leverage authority in this little time or this quickly. It's got to be around credibility. And Zipf's law is also known as the 4-second rule. You have as little as 4 seconds to be perceived as the expert in your industry. Okay, following me? Are you getting this? You're understanding that building authority is not what's really crucial. And that is crucial. It's building the context for authority, building credibility, and then knowing how to connect the two. And that's where our PCA process comes in. I'm going to reveal it to you. So before you pitch or before you give out any content, again, I want you to follow this very strategically. But I'm going to share with you the new buying criteria. So let me just get this on the screen here. And I'm going to show you the new buying criteria in today's marketplace. And you're going to want to write this down. The new buying criteria is built on a new expert publishing platform which allows you to stealthily assess your target market in multiple ways and compels your prospective clients to only choose you. Okay? Write that down. That's the new buying criteria in the advisory age. So it's built on a new expert publishing platform that allows you to stealthily assess your target market in multiple ways and compels your prospective clients to only choose you. All right, and let me give you an example. And then I'm going to show you something that you're going to want to jump on as quickly as possible. I want to just show you really quickly an introduction to our PCA process. PCA process, and what does it stand for? It stands for build a paradigm. So build the context before you build your content, always from the standpoint of what your action step is, the action step that you want to take your target market to take. So PCA always starts with building the paradigm or building the context. You saw how context and content are related. I showed you the our little circle diagram, and then focusing on delivering your content from the standpoint of what is the outcome that you want your prospective client to take. Why my clients love the vetting process that I teach them is it allows them to make themselves very attractive to the highest end buyers in their marketplace. That way, they're not competing against anybody else, and they're giving all the people that want to, squibble or squabble over low-end products, lets them go somewhere else and bother somebody else. Now, you want to be really strategic in today's marketplace. That is crucial. And all of us want to make things easier, right? Because when you make things easier, you start operating within a more intelligent business model. I was flying to Tampa last week, and I was just thinking to myself, because I used that time to self-reflect. He or she who self-reflects the greatest controls marketplaces today. It's one of our speed to market principles. And I was thinking about how I had been so constrained, and still am to a certain extent, by doing things a certain way. And I start analyzing myself, like, why am I doing things this way? Why do I think that I've got to put a book out or a free report, from your case? Maybe you're thinking that. Or why do I got to start with a $19 product or even worse, a $19 service? what if you were to get a little bit more strategic? And what if you were able to build out some massive momentum because you knew how to leverage context and content, or credibility and authority? Well, I'm going to be doing some private training. I'm going to delve into this a little bit deeper. I've got nothing to sell, by the way. I never have to sell. We naturally bring our clients to us. And right now we have a queue for every one of our programs. So we create an application process, and I show clients how to put all of that together so you can truly build your value and posture yourself in the marketplace. The URL that the action step that I want you to take right now, if you're interested in understanding how my clients are able to vet their clients very critically and very quick and fast. This is teaching that I've never done before. You can text me at private, PRIVATE, and you can text me at 248-469-4376. So that's private, PRIVATE, and the number 248-469-4376. And I'll be sending you a private invitation to some training that I'm doing next week. Now, let me just show you so that in case you're fumbling for a pen, let me just put this here for you so that you can see this. So I'll share my screen here. So you want to text private to 248-469-4376, and what I'm going to be showing you is sizzling hot. I mean, this is so hot. This is a new business publishing and partnership model to attract pre-qualified, high-paying clients. And if you've been following what my clients are doing, you know that there's nobody that's doing this from the standpoint of knowing, not only showing you how to accelerate your business and business growth, but how to teach your clients to get the kind of success that they want. Because what you're doing when you ensure your client's success, like we do with our clients, what are you doing? You're ensuring your success. And one of the secrets that I'll tell you that I've been doing from day one in business is leveraging my clients. And because we're out of time here today, I was going to show you one of our case studies. Move around on our blog, take a look at some of our case studies. You definitely want to get the manifesto. You want to download if you can download the report that we did, our case study with Dennis Eagle and others, and begin to model the best. All right, that's what I pride myself in, living vicariously through the testimonials and the social proof of what our systems do for our clients. And I want to help you do the very same thing. So you want to, again, you don't want to jump on this quickly because we will have a queue, and all of you have, you'll be at the top of our queue for this private training, PRIVATE, and the number 248-469-4376. And I really look forward to showing you what my clients do in terms of leveraging credibility and authority, and showing you some of the strategically created marketing tools. Remember what our definition of marketing is: knowing how to strategically assess your marketplace to select your highest end programs and services and select you for the long term. So anyways, on behalf of the entire Awaken team, this is Glenn Dietzel here from the International Office of Awaken. And perhaps our paths are going to cross really soon. I know some of you that are watching this right now coming to the Canadian Lake Home because you want to leverage our systems for quantum growth and make leaps of accomplishment that you've not been able to, and you're frustrated because you're following the advice of all the so-called gurus and experts out there, and it's absolutely silly what most of them are teaching today. You never start with a product. You always start with a program or a service. Why? Because it's going to allow you to build the kind of marketing feedback data to leverage yourself as the trusted advisor in the advisory age or in the recommendation age. All right, so I'm going to show you how to triage your problem. You're going to love the tools and systems that my clients are using, and I really look forward to being of assistance to you. If we can be of further assistance to you, don't hesitate to phone our international office at 519-542-3043. And definitely, you're going to want to jump on if you really want to make and create an intelligent business and act a whole lot smarter than what you're doing right now. And it's not because I'm smarter or any more intelligent. It's just I've got better systems because I've been doing this for 10 years. Private to 248-469-4376. Imagine yourself gaining the kind of influence that you've always wanted. Picture yourself more influential. Posture yourself and see it right now as you persuading very naturally simply by knowing how to strategically educate your target market to select only you. You're going to go from frustration to freedom, and you're going to love what my systems will do for you, just like my clients do. Have a great one, and I look forward to our next Google Hangout.